Okay, perfect. So once again, hi everyone, very good evening. So I'm Rahul. I'm going to take the demo sessions for this Workday HCM module. So first thing, before even I start with what we are going to do, may I know like how much you guys know on Workday, like what you heard. I know if you know more on Workday, you won't be there for the training, but I just want to understand like how much you know on the Workday, what you know about it. Does anyone of you have any prior experience from the customer side? Okay, perfectly fine. Firstly, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, Rahul. Yes.
Uh, 10 plus years of experience, and most of my experience is into Workday itself. I have worked on both the front end as well as the back end of Workday, basically to say in the Workday terminology, the customer side and then the partner side of Workday. Right. So I have worked on different modules. I've got certified in multiple modules. So uh, I have hands-on on like a recruitment starting from core HCM. Why? Because core HCM is a basic for all the modules. So if you want to know any module, if you want to work on any module in Workday, right, you need to have the HCM as a prerequisite, right? So HCM is a prerequisite for all the modules, whether you want to look at a functional side of Workday or the technical side of Workday. Okay, so when I say the functional side of Workday, we'll have all the modules which will be, there as part of the HR structure, what we hear in the organizations, right? Starting with a core HCM, where we'll have the complete organization data. We create the supervisory organizations, we create the positions, we'll do everything. Then apart from that, we have other modules like recruitment, where the hiring process and the onboarding process will start after that. Then we have the compensation where employee gets the compensation. We have payroll where the employee payroll will be processed and they'll get the pay slips and all of it. We have absence and time tracking where the employee can apply for the leaves. They can see how many leaves they have left with, do all the processing. Then we have the learning where the employee can, do all the trainings which an organization can provide within the organization. There are third-party integrations again for the learning module. Then we have the talent and performance where the employee can update all their talent details. So when we say talent, we'll again have like the complete talent structure of the employee, starting from the education, the job history, what are the skill set that they have. Then we have the performance where the employee performance can be captured for the complete year, the financial cycle, or how the organizations are structured on. Then once the performance is done, we have something called as the advanced compensation, where the employee merit process will be processed within Workday. Then we have benefits, where we have the employee benefit structure where they can set up within Workday. They can add their dependent data. They can add all the benefits for within their profile. So this is kind of like an overview of what is there on the functional side, right? So as I said, I have 10 plus years of experience completely into Workday, hands-on experience on the multiple modules. Again, only mainly on the functional side. So I'm basically a functional consultant, right? So now coming to the course, the first thing is prerequisites. So there is no prerequisite required for the Workday HCM training. You can be engineering grad, or you can be from the degree background, or you can be from an MBA background. Whichever background you are, you can take up this particular training. Why? Because as I said, this is a prerequisite for all the modules, whether it is a functional or a technical. The only thing what you need to understand when you look at this particular training, basically the core HCM module, is you have to visualize the complete data in the organization perspective, the organization structure. So when I say organization perspective or structure, it means like how an organization is built on. So we'll have a hierarchies, we'll have teams, we'll have managers, we'll have the HR partners, we have the HR operations team, then we have the recruitment team, we'll have some other people as well, right? From the compensation team or from the IT team and all of it. So how that is structured is what is everything that is done in the core HCM, right? So for the only prerequisite I can say is you need to have that visualization thing, or you need to have a basic knowledge on how the organization structuralization can be. Then what are the main goals of this particular training? This is mainly to make you guys understand how the workday setup is, to look at what are all the things that can be done as part of the core HCM. So we'll go into the concepts a bit later. What are all the things that will be covered as part of it, that we'll look at it a bit later. But the major is to understand how that organization visualization, we are going to put it on the system, right? It is basically like, you have one image in your mind, how you're putting it on the paper, how you're drawing it. In the output, whether it is as per the imagination that you have in your mind, or is it something different? If it is different, how you can change it. A basic example, that's it. So the first thing, I just want to understand, does any one of you know who are the competitors of Workday? Again, silent. Okay, what is Workday? Aarti, any idea?
It's a SaaS, it's a cloud-based HR, I don't know what software. Basically, you do not. Basically, whatever or application how you use, it's completely stored in cloud. That is what I have. Very layman terms what I'm using, but it's a cloud-based
Perfect.
software. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, Workday is one of our ERP systems. So when we say ERP, the enterprise resource planning, right? So we have multiple ERPs within the market, and at this point of time, Workday is leading it. So earlier, SAP SuccessFactors is one of it. Then we have Oracle, we had PeopleSoft. There is another tool that is there in the market, which is starting in Southeast Asia. But as of now, almost 50 to 60% of market, Workday is used. So again, when we say ERPs, it is not just at the HR structure, it looks at the complete organization, right? So if you look at the first pointer over here, apart from the capital management, HCM, we have financial management applications. So when you look at Workday diverse structure, right, apart from being a HR tool, HR enterprise resource planning system, Workday also have a financial system, Workday Finance. Workday also have Workday Student, which is mainly for the colleges and universities. So these three are a different diversifications that the Workday is having right now. But majorly, the one that is being used is a Workday HR system. Workday Finance has started I can say it started taking the boom mostly from past 4 to 5 years. And Workday Student, it is still not so good in the market. They are trying to increase it because again, it depends on the universities that they wanted to use, right? It is on the budgeting part and all of it. Now, as Aarti said, this is a cloud-based system. So when we say cloud-based system, there is no application or anything that is required to be downloaded or installed in the clients or the company's laptop. It can be accessed through the browser or the mobile applications. So the complete data that is being updated into Workday will be stored in the Workday servers. Workday have servers in 7 regions, and all the countries in and around that region will be utilizing that particular server. So now we understood, okay, the Workday is the ERP, the cloud-based, then what about the security? The Workday security structure, they give a tenant, what they call as a tenant, which means the web URLs for each of the company once the Workday is implemented for that respective company. And to log in into that, the company can set up just the basic user ID and password, or if they want, they can have, a two-factor authentication. However they want to utilize, they can have the security that can be set up based on the requirement. But the initial security that the Workday provides is a basic user ID and password where we can, create and update the password accordingly and then share it with the respective employees. And Then the next one, before going to the next slide, which is this one, right? Before coming to this one, how are these tenants segregated in Workday? So when I say tenants, the web URLs, right? So we have a real-time data, what we call as a production tenant in Workday terminology. So the production tenant is nothing but a real-time data wherein the current employee data, everything, whatever is related to them based on the modules that are implemented, will be available in that production tenant, a day-to-day. Then the next one, we have something called as a sandbox tenant. So the sandbox tenant is basically a replica of the production tenant, but it will be a week back data. So for example, now, whatever data is there in the production this week, it won't be available in sandbox until next Monday. So every Sunday, sandbox gets refreshed. So to say in basic terminology, it happens on Saturday evenings. So every Saturday, the sandbox tenant get refreshed with the production data or take a copy of the production data and gets updated in the sandbox tenant. So if you want to do any testing or anything for the current data, you have to wait till next week in sandbox tenant. Then the next tenant that we have is a sandbox preview tenant. So what is the difference between the sandbox and the preview tenant? So the data is almost the same based on how it is on the sandbox, but the only major difference is Workday provides updates every 6 months at free of cost to all the customers. So this is one of the advantage of utilizing Workday. When we look at the other ERPs like SAP, or when we look at PeopleSoft, which is now stopped, for them, each update that the organization provides, it is an additional cost for the company if they want to move to the next update. But for Workday, every 6 months, Workday provides an update to each and every customer, and there is no restriction on, okay, I want to use it, I don't want to use it. It provides it to everyone. And then in the updates, there are two different tasks that they give. One are a mandatory updates, which is by default updated on each and every customer tenant. And the second one are called as opt-in features, wherein if that particular company wants to utilize that particular update, they can take it or they can just ignore it. So all these updates, before even coming into production, Workday first releases these updates in the preview tenants. Might be around a month or 2 months before, so that the customers can go into the preview tenant, test it out accordingly. Okay, what are the updates that the Workday is giving for this release, and whether we want to use it, we don't want to use it for the opt-ins, and if it is a mandatory ones, is there any impact that is going to be on the current structure or the current setup within the company. Then we have something called as the implementation tenants, which can be refreshed based on the customer requirement. Might be one tenant can be of a 1 month refreshment, one can be 3 months, and one can be 6 months. So any doubts on the tenants? Very quiet. Either you guys are understanding everything or you're not understanding anything. Is it clear at least?
Yeah, Rahul. Yes.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So we have discussed on the key benefits, what are all the things that we have in Workday. So now these are the items that we have in the Workday architecture, right? As I said, we have Workday HCM, which is the major one, which we have all the functional modules. We have the Workday payroll, we have Workday finance, we have Workday benefits, worker spend management, and Workday projects. The major one, the HCM, the demo, today's demo is mainly on this one, the HCM module, right? So firstly, from Workday, when they say HCM module, the modules that are there as part of functional, it starts with the HCM, which is a prerequisite for all the other modules which I have mentioned earlier. To learn or to know any other module, first we need to have the company setup, the organizations or the team setups, then hiring the people, what is their job profile, what is their management level. All this will be done as part of the HCM. We call it as a core HCM module in Workday terminology. The reason being, it is the core of all other modules within the Workday functional structure. And the same for integrations as well, which is considered as a technical, Workday technical. So for integrations also, HCM is a prerequisite. So based on your overall experience, based on your interest, whether you want to go into Workday technical stream or you want to go into the Workday functional stream, for both of it, HCM is going to be the core and you need to have knowledge on the HCM. Right? So now, there are few things which Workday gives by default. Okay, so when I say by default, it gives you organization structures like a supervisory organization. Then it gives something called as a matrix organization. So what is a matrix organization? Basically, it is a dotted line structure. So when we talk this in the HR terminology, an employee is reporting to a manager directly, and there is a dotted line manager for the same employee where the employee reports. Might be because of a project work, because of a short-term assignment or anything. So in that scenario, this dotted line work is represented as a matrix organization in Workday structure. Sorry, we have any question? Okay. So then apart from this Workday delivered setup, if you wanted to have anything additional, there is access which Workday has given up to an extent to create an additional fields. And there are integrations that will be there for each and every module. So when I say integrations that are there, for example, now, if you want to know what are the integrations, basic integrations that will be there for HCM, it is mainly the two-factor authentication. So few companies might use Okta as two-factor authentication. Some companies uses the Microsoft Authenticator, where once we input the user ID and password, it will ask for the second factor authentication passcode. So how that integration happens is the technical team will configure it based on the requirement with the company. So for every company, whenever there is a tool that is purchased, there will be few details that will be provided, like a security key, what is the user access or the user ID for that particular tool for the company. Like how we have our Gmail user ID and password, the similar way, there'll be a company user ID password that will be given. There might be a secret key, there might be few additional things that will be given. So based on all the details, those details will be set up in Workday so that when an employee enters the details, the user ID password, then it will ask the employee to update the passcode, which is the two-factor authentication. Then when we think of payroll, most of the companies uses, payroll from a different vendors. Might be the basic example will be SAP. Most of the companies uses SAP as a payroll vendor, but they wanted to have the details in Workday. So now how it happens, the compensation details will be integrated from Workday to SAP, where the outbound integration happens. So whatever is going from Workday, Workday calls it as an outbound integration. And whatever is coming inside Workday from the third party, that is called as an inbound integration. So based on the setup, all these can be done for each and every module. For most of the modules, there are integrations that are available. And if there is nothing that is available, a new integration will be built by the respective consultant. So these are all the modules, as I said, in the HCM, the functional side of Workday, starting with the core HCM. Then we have the recruitment, we have talent, payroll, time tracking, workforce planning, benefits, dashboards, and analytics. So dashboards and analytics is one thing which is used by each and every module. So for recruitment, I have recruitment specific dashboards. So when we say analytics, it is basically the reporting. So we have recruitment specific reporting. We have talent specific reporting. We have benefit specific reporting. The same will have a dashboards. So I'll show later stages how the dashboards will look, how we can configure the dashboards and all of it. So any questions till now again? Guys, come on, please ask questions. Don't think that it might be a silly question or anything. You can ask whatever it is. Okay, so Now let us look a bit more on the HCM. So what are the things that are going to be captured or that are going to be covered in the HCM, right? As I said, it starts with setting up the company. So once we set up the company, there might be multiple companies based on multiple regions, right? A basic example to give you is, for example, consider which company we can take. Okay, let us take IBM. Okay, so IBM is one of the organization that is there. So IBM existence is there all over the world. And when you look at IBM, they call the IBM in India as IBM India. The one in US is IBM US. The one in Germany is IBM Germany. But all these companies falls under one umbrella, which is the IBM overall. So now we have IBM as one company. Under that, we have multiple branches. So all these, we call it as a companies and the company hierarchies in Workday terminology. So IBM is a company hierarchy. And under that hierarchy, we have multiple companies in multiple regions. Then there are other organization types in Workday apart from company. So basically, company is one of the organization type, which we are going to look at how to create and all in Workday. Then we have the company hierarchy. We have location. We have location hierarchy. We have region. We have pay group. We have a cost center. Right? So each of it is considered as an organization in Workday. So again, what is the difference between the location and location hierarchy? Similar to how we have the company hierarchy, we have location hierarchy. So how it is differentiated? So Asia will be a location hierarchy. Under Asia, we have multiple countries which can again be a location hierarchy. Like India is one location hierarchy. Singapore is one location hierarchy. Malaysia is one location hierarchy. Again, under India, we'll have a sub-location hierarchies, which can be states like Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Delhi, and all of it. So after this, once the states are there, we'll have cities again as a sub-location hierarchies. Like I have Bangalore, I have Hyderabad, I have Mumbai. So all these can be location hierarchies. After this is where we'll have locations, whereas in Mumbai, it might be, the company is located in Andheri. In Hyderabad, it might be based out of the cyber towers. In Bangalore, it might be somewhere in Marathalli. Right? So these are the locations. So there is a link that we are going to provide from the location to the location hierarchy to the higher location hierarchies. Then after this, we have supervisory organizations, which is the heart of the Workday HCM. So the reason why we say heart for the Workday HCM is a supervisory organization is because supervisory organization is where we create the positions and we hire the employees. I cannot hire the employees in location like, in Bangalore or IBM India or IBM US. To hire an employee, there should be a supervisory organization that should be created within Workday. Why? Because the hiring can happen or the positions can be created only in the supervisory organizations. Then we have the other types what we can do where we initiate the hire process, we do the contact changes for the employee, we update the emergency contact details, all the basic detail, the personal information and all those. So all these we are going to have as part of the Workday HCM. Right? The next one, what we have is the benefits. So again, if you remember, I have mentioned Workday HCM is the prerequisite for all the other modules, whether it can be benefits or whether it can be a talent management or whether it can be a workforce planning. So any idea or any understanding that you have got from the discussion till now, why we call Workday HCM as a prerequisite for all the other modules? Any thoughts?
Because I guess this is giving you end-to-end
exposure to all the
Mhm.
other applications of Workday or the modules of Workday? I'm just guessing.
Yeah, so your guess is correct. So in addition to that, the reason why we call it as a prerequisite is we'll hire the employees in HCM and we send the details. Like when we say send the details, we don't do anything manually. Everything happens on the back end. We send the employee details to each and every module. So now I have an employee. So I'm there, I'm hired as an employee. So now once I'm hired as an employee, I have my position available in Workday HCM. So I'm tagged to that particular position under a respective supervisory organization, right? So my hiring process is coming from the recruitment module, wherein there is an application that the company has set up on their career portal. I've gone and applied for it. I've cleared all the interview process. The compensation discussion is done, and then the hiring is done. So once again, for the recruitment, we need to have the supervisory organizations and the positions available. So don't think that, okay, the person is coming from the recruitment module, then why we call HCM as a core? Why not recruitment? The reason being, for the recruitment, we need to have the position or the job requisition available. And the position is created again under supervisory organization, which is created as part of Workday HCM. Then for the talent, now I want to update my education details. I want to update my job history. Where I update it? On my worker profile. So for each and every employee, the data where everything they can access, we call it as a worker profile in Workday terminology. So that worker profile is going to again come from the HCM wherein the employee is hired. Then for the time tracking, the same. For me to look at how many leaves that I have, how many I have applied, what is the status of my applied leaves. Everything is again happening on the worker profile. So once the profile is created, Workday sends the data to all these modules wherein when an employee is utilizing that respective module, without even an employee updating or adding the details, the Workday will take almost everything from the backend. Got it?
Okay, Rahul.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So I'm not going through each and every module that we have, but as I said, for each and every module, it has its own advantages, wherein for all of this, uh, the Workday HCM is a core and the data, everything is going to come from Workday HCM. So the next modules, what we have over here, this is based on your interest level. What are the things that we have as part of each of this module? And based on your interest, which one you can go to? Like, for example, consider you are from the HR background, wherein you are part of a recruitment team. Like you have around 6 years, 8 years or 10 years, whatever experience you have is completely on the recruitment side, wherein you are as a recruiter or the HR partner, you have the complete recruitment structure knowledge. Then the recommendation can be to go for the recruitment module after the HCM, right? Your interest might be there in other modules, but the thing first to get the reason why we take the trainings is to move to Workday, right? To get jobs in Workday. And for that, we have to first look at what is the easiest way to have it. Rather than struggling in the first part, what can be the easiest or what can be the best possibility to move to Workday first as soon as possible. For example, you're from a compensation background, you have worked on, the rewards and recognitions, you know how the compensation structure is done for an employee. Then after HCM, it's better to have a compensation knowledge. Or you are from a talent and development team, then you can go for either talent and performance or learning in that way. Got it?
Yeah, yeah, Rahul.
So, okay, enough of this PPTs, right? So I'm not going to move to any of the next slides. It is just basically on for each module, what are the features that we have available in Workday, right? So how the structure is going to be, the training is going to be is, firstly, I'll run through the PPT. I'll explain you what are the things that are there in Workday for each of the slide. We'll go to each of the process. We'll see how the descriptive side is. Then once that is done, I'll show a demo on the tenant. So whatever we have learned that particular day, or might be, first half an hour can be descriptive and the next half an hour is going to be like, practical part. So once the descriptive part is done, I'll show a demo on the tenant wherein whatever we have gone through, whatever we have seen in the slides, I'll show how we can configure that. And then once the demo is done, my way of teaching is I need any one of you guys to share your screen and test it out. There'll be assignments, there'll be homeworks, all that will be there. But then apart from that, I prefer people doing it within the session itself. Might be a quick 5 minutes. Why? Because none of this will, when we consider from the practical side, none of it is going to take more than, 5 to 10 minutes. Whichever process or whichever concept we are going to discuss, each of it will take a max of 5 minutes to configure it on the tenant. So the first is descriptive. The second is a demo where I'll configure it on the tenant. And the third one is I want someone to share their screen and then configure it on their tenant. You can stop me in between whenever you have any questions when we are going through and all of it. No issues. And in between, I'll try to share few real-time examples as well. It's not like just a basic thing. So I'll share my own experiences. I'm not going to give you some random things which I've found on net or anything. I'm going to share my real-time experience scenarios. Like when that particular process is there, what is the requirement of few of the clients that they have come up with, or what is the recommendations that we have given in that way. So we're not going to have a demo today. The reason the tenant is still not available. So any questions, guys? Are you guys there?
Yes, we are there, Rahul.
Okay. Shall I go one by one? Okay. Hope you guys understood what is Workday, at least a basic outline. So now, right, as part of core HCM, we'll look at few other module basics as well. It's not just the core HCM that will be covered. It'll be a few other basic modules. So for example, we'll be looking at how a job requisition can be created, which is a part of recruitment module. We'll look at how the compensation grades or how the compensation pay ranges can be created, which is a part of compensation. We'll look at how the securities can be set up, which is a part of security module. Then we'll look at few of the Workday delivered reports and how a report can be run, how it can be, a basic report can be created. We'll look at that as well, which is a part of a reporting module. And in between, if any questions, any doubts on those, we can go and have a small look at those items as well. So one thing I wanted to understand, what is the background of each of you guys?
Yeah, hi Rahul. Myself Sushmita.
Hi, Sushmita.
Yeah, I'm a software engineer and I'm from Oracle background.
Okay.
And in my project, we have Workday. The front end, it is we have SAP field class. And when we make some changes in FG, we have few integrations, and after that integrations, the changes will get reflected in Workday. So like the same as you said earlier, we have supervisory or creations, that thing. So we used to go to the Workday and we check like what are the changes we made has been visible or not. That is the level of we use in Workday. That's it, Rahul.
Okay, okay, perfect. So you have a bit of knowledge on the Workday front end then.
Yeah, it's very little.
That's fine. By the end of this training, you'll have a complete knowledge on the experience.
Yeah, hoping the same. Thanks.
See, one thing I can promise you guys is I'll give you the best of my training, how much ever I can, not looking at a theoretical part. I'll basically give the trainings based on my experience. So I am not a hardcore trainer where I can say like, okay, I just give the trainings, I don't do any work and all of it. So as I said, I am a certified Workday consultant. So based on the experience that I have gained on configuring the tenants or configuring the Workday for the clients or handling the team on the other modules that they have configured, as I have monitored all those. So I can give you the best, at least for you guys to, prepare for your first Workday job.
Yeah, Rahul.
So others, what is your background?
Hi Rahul, this is Amita here.
Hi, Amita.
Yeah, so I'm part of HR team. So
Okay.
I do have experience of 10 years into HR background. So I've
Mhm.
handled all HR generalist role and the talent roles. And so currently I'm into the internal program resourcing team. So
Mhm.
it's something like internal employee management. So we
Mhm.
look for opportunities internally for the employees
Mhm.
who comes under our retention list. So that's the work which I do.
Mhm.
And so currently I don't work on Workday. We have separate tools. But
Mhm.
previous organization, I worked in Workday. So I was taking care of the termination part. So I
Okay.
have a bit knowledge of Workday, but it's been long gap now. So it's almost 4 years of gap. So
Mhm.
there is a gap of knowledge in that. So I'm just looking forward to learn more and gain more experience so that I'm just good in Workday.
Got it. So you have a diversified knowledge in HR as
Yes,
you are
yes.
a journalist.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Cool. Anyone else want to share?
Hi Rahul, my name is Vandana.
Audible?
Sorry.
Hi, Vandana. Yeah.
So I am basically into HR and I'm working for HR shared service where I do
Okay.
have, yeah. So I am working on Workday, but
Mhm.
I mean it's more of an view part where employees call about their details or
Mhm.
if they have to update their payment elections and then they ask us whether it's updated or not. So these kind of information I just navigate through Workday and I give them. So I
Mhm.
have more of a view, hands-on, hands-on, not, I won't say experience, but an idea about the view. But I
Okay.
am looking for more into, how to add the details or, how to understand the triggers which are coming on Workday. If there is an employee who is, um, you know, uh, whose manager has initiated an
Mhm.
promotion or something.
Yeah.
So how to go ahead and check those triggers and how to update them and how to update the data on Workday. This is
Mhm.
something which I am looking for.
Perfect.
So yeah,
Got it. Yeah.
so that's it about me, Rahul.
Cool. Thank you.
Rahul, before I go, could you just confirm me if I'm audible?
Yeah, Arti.
Okay, thank you. So Rahul, as I briefly told, I come with close to 10 years of experience. I have worked into almost all domain of HR, from
Mhm.
immigration, payroll, recruitment, operations, compensation, and now currently working as HRBP. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, so in current organization, I have hands-on experience as an end user because we use
Mhm.
Workday day in, day out. So I
Mhm.
am familiar with the terms that we went through today in today's session, so I'm aware about it.
Mhm.
So generally, I have an opportunity to move to Workday Consultant, so that's the reason I've taken up this training. Uh, I think that's about me, but I had two questions, if I can ask, or should we pass it?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. I'm not. I think it will benefit for everyone. So could you also walk us through how a HCM consultant or any consultant, Workday consultants, a day look like what exactly they do, how it goes. One. Second thing is, we saw about HCM. We told that it's a primary, it's a foundation for any other module that we are going to do. So should I look in a way where someone who is an HCM consultant cannot work on a Workday module unless and until they have any core next module? Example, when I say I'm a HCM certified, I cannot I cannot work as a consultant because I don't have core module experience, or I don't have hands-on, or I don't have certification of maybe recruitment or talent, something like that. Like, I'm just trying to understand, is it mandatory to have HCM consultant certification plus one?
Okay. Okay. So let me go by your first question, right? So the first one. So I'm sorry, I already forgot.
So, because for me, I mean, for my team member, we always look at them as a developer or consultant, but I don't know what exactly they do, how their day start, what they do. And I know about the stand-up meeting, I know about the, consulting stuff, what they do. I'm currently working at Wipro. So I really want to know, like, as HCM consultant or a Workday consultant, any example, like what exactly?
Yeah. So it differs, right? So it depends on the company. So as you have the Workday knowledge, so let me go by the Workday terminology, right? So we have the Workday customers who uses Workday, and then we have Workday partners who implements Workday, right? Who configure the Workday system for the customers. So if for example, like you are, might be, for example, after this internally, or might be you move to another organization as a Workday consultant, consider it is a customer company. The work for them, how it is going to be is you are going to get queries. Basically, it is kind of like what we call as a AMS support system, wherein you have a support, you are part of a Workday support team, and then you'll get queries, not just looking at, okay, whether this particular data is updated or not. It won't be in that way. For example, few queries will be like, we have this supervisory organization, which is a duplicate. Can you dig in and see why there is a duplicate that is created? Is it created on purpose, or is it by mistake? If it is by mistake, can we inactivate it? A basic example, right? Or few can be creating a new supervisory organizations, creating a new locations, creating new pay groups, cost centers, all this. Then apart from these, as I said, Workday have its release, which happens every 6 months, right? So if you are part of this Workday team, you will be one of the person who will be testing the Workday updates in the preview tenant. So there'll be a test scenarios that will be given to you by, might be, the top end Workday team in your organization, the tier 1, tier 2, whatever, it depends on what they call. They'll share the test scenarios, and you have to go to the preview tenant, log in with the credentials, what they have given, might be as a manager or as an employee or a HR partner. Or for example, if you're looking at a talent related process as a talent administrator, or a compensation process, compensation administrator. So you look at what is the Workday update, you'll run it in your system, then you have to provide your feedback on whether it is running fine, or whether you found any discrepancy, or was there any bug where you're not able to proceed further. You have to share all your feedback. Basically, this is the work which is going to be mostly on the customer side of Workday. Then in this one, adding to your second question, right? If you are just HCM certified and you don't have, certification in the other modules, so can't you work? No, you can work on all the modules that the company has implemented. This is the advantage of working on the customer side of Workday. The reason being, for example, you are HCM certified, like you have. So when we say certifications, there are two types of certifications: a partner certification and then a customer certification. Customer certification is called as a Workday Pro certification. Okay, so this is done only through the respective organizations. So now coming back to your question, right? So for example, consider, as you said, in your organization, they have the complete Workday implementation, you work on the process, right? So what I understood is there is core HCM, there might be payroll that is implemented, there is compensation, recruitment might be there, for example. Consider these 4 modules are there. So now you have, learned only HCM. But when you're put into the consultant shoes, they won't assign you only the HCM tickets. They'll assign you whichever module ticket comes, and you have to sit, learn, and work. We might feel it is a bit difficult in the starting, but it is a very, very good learning. So this is how the customer side of work goes for a Workday consultant. So now let me tell you a partner side. So right now, few companies, they are hiring people who are non-certified but have hands-on experience on Workday, the Workday partner companies. So how the Workday partner side works is, you need to be certified in that respective module to implement or configure that module to the customer. That is mandate on the partner side. That is one of the reason I have multiple certifications. I have HCM, I have learning, I have talent and performance, I have core payroll, I have US payroll, I have project management as well. So to implement talent, you should be talent certified. That is what I can say might be a prerequisite on the partner sides. The reason being, when the customer company talks to the people, for them, they should have that understanding. Why? Because the people who talks to these partners, they are the higher level people, right? The CHRO, CFO, and all these people, the top level organization. So for them, the partner company, they should give an assurance that, okay, this person is trained in the module. This person got certified, which is a Workday provided certification in the module, so they can do this work. So that is the only reason certification is mandatory on the partner side.
So in scenario where someone who is a Workday partner certified, he
Sorry?
or she can work only on those particular modules and not.
Mostly yes. Mostly yes.
Okay.
Until and unless you are interested, you say that, okay, I don't want to get certified, but I just want to support others so that I can learn. If the management accepts, you can go ahead and do it. The only difference is, right, now on the customer side, we have the complete setup available. So what we do is, we might add few new things or change the existing items. That's it. But when it comes to the partner side, you will be given a blank tenant, like a white page. And you have to build everything from scratch.
It's like a complete project for a client.
Yes, that is what we do, right? As a partners, that is what the partner firms do. You are like, for example, the customer wants to move from SAP to Workday, or they want to move from Oracle to Workday, or might be some third party to Workday, which means it is a new project wherein it goes might be for 9 months, 1 year, 1.5 years, 2 years, based on the size of the customer. From my experience, the largest project which I have seen is for 2.5 years, wherein the company has existence in 150 countries. So it will go by different phases. Okay, as part of phase 1, we'll implement only for the Asia region, or might be European region, in that way.
I think this is really helpful, Rahul. I'm getting complete insight on two ends, so I was not aware at all about. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Happy that I'm able to answer your question. Okay. Any other questions?
Yeah, hi Rahul, Amita here.
Yeah, Amita.
Good that who has actually asked these questions? Vandana, is it?
It's Aarti.
Aarti, okay. Thank you, Aarti. It was good questions which we actually wanted to know. Thank you for that. So Rahul, I have one question to you. Now, since we have a different background, in the sense though it is an HR and it's Workday is part of HR. However, now after completing this course, we will be like a fresher, right? So if we are applying for a job, will it be considered as a fresher job? Will they consider our previous experience and consider the salary, or it is going to be as a fresher job?
Okay, so 2 things over here, right? The first one, on the salary part, your experience might be 5 years or 6 years experience, and basic, for example, consider your salary is around like 10 lakhs. So the job what you're going to get in Workday will be on your current salary only. You won't be given salary as a fresher.
Okay.
Okay, it
So
is
that
on.
means we can demand from the current salary as how
Yes,
we generally demand. Okay.
yes, yes, yes. The regular compensation discussion with the HRs.
Okay. Okay. Because I was just going through this portals and I was just looking for Workday consultant opportunities. But if
Mhm.
you see minimum, at least they are looking for 2 to 3 years of experience. So what is the availability of jobs for freshers who complete only with the certifications?
Okay, let me tell you, let me put it in this way, right? So the first thing, the training that you're going to get here is not a Workday certification. Okay, let me put it bluntly, right? So this is a training, and the certification that you're going to get is the certification from UpTaught. It is not from Workday.
Correct.
So the certifications which I have said earlier, the partner certification and the Workday Pro certification, these are the certifications which are given by Workday, wherein the Workday trainers, the people from Workday come and train the people. There will be a test wherein you have a 30 descriptive questions, then you have 6 hours to implement something, to configure something on the tenant. Once you clear all this, and if you pass the test, then you will be provided the Workday certifications. And this Workday certification is not available outside.
Yes.
It is available only through the partner companies, which is like KPMG, PwC, IBM. So these are all the Workday partner companies, Cognizant and all. Then the other one, which I said, is a Workday Pro certification. If the customer is using Workday, like for example, how Aarti said her company uses Workday, so they can initiate a Workday certification request, which is for the Workday Pro certification, which is way costlier than the regular Workday certification. And if you look at the Workday certification cost, right, the Workday HCM certification cost is around 3.5 to 4 lakhs. And Workday Pro certification is around 6 lakhs, I believe.
Okay.
Now, the next one which you have asked, right, on the job, the role. Basically, if a person is taking a training who's not a fresher, again, I'm putting it in a direct and a blunt way. You train, you get trained, you practice, and most of the people put fake experience. The reason being, for example, now, as I said, consider you have 6 years of experience and you want to now move into Workday. Obviously, you cannot leave all your 6 years of experience, right? So it'll be like you will say, okay, I have worked on, might be like, a 1 year or 1.5 year on Workday, but the exposure that I've got is minimal. That is the reason I'm looking for the change to learn more. That's it. And the role that you will get is not a fresher role. Let me put it again here. It is not a fresher role, guys. So if you're planning to move to Workday completely, make sure that you have enough testing experience that you have done. So when I say testing experience, you have tested it thoroughly multiple times. Not that, okay, you were given an assignment, so you have just configured it once and that's it, overdone. Not in that way. You have to keep doing it multiple times. You have to look at other possibilities, what can be done over there and all of it. The reason why I'm telling is just because you all are experienced people, not freshers. Getting a job on Workday,
Yeah,
the market is...
Rahul, yeah, this is Swati evening.
Yes, Swati.
Actually, you're saying that experienced people only having the chance to get in a job on Workday, right?
Not experienced people. So what I'm saying is, if you like, for example, consider you have worked on a different stream, like how Aarti said she's on Workday, right?
Okay.
Sorry, not on Workday, as HR.
Okay.
So which means she has around 10 years of experience as HR, but now she wants to move into a hardcore Workday role.
Okay.
So when you say hardcore Workday role, you cannot apply as a fresher. The reason being you cannot leave your 10 years past experience.
Actually, in my case, I have been not working from past 10 years. I used to work as a HR, sorry, not HR, assistant HR before 10 years back. Now I just wanted to start up my career as a fresher. Is it worth it for me to go with the Workday?
So for that, right, Swati, what I can say is not only just Workday, basically whichever you wanted to go with as you are restarting your career.
Yes.
So everyone might be knowing this terminology. So every company have something called as a back to work,
Okay.
wherein mostly this happens with most of the women, right? Might be they went on a mat leave, then they stopped working because of the kids, or might be because of few family issues and everything, and they wanted to restart
Yes,
their
yes.
career. So for these scenarios, each and every company have this process, what they call as back to work, where
Okay.
they consider your previous experience. They won't take you as a fresher.
Okay.
For example, like in your scenario, 10 years back, you worked for 4 or 5 years, consider.
Okay.
They will consider that 5 years experience of yours.
Okay.
You won't be a fresher. You will be like an
Okay.
experienced person, and you might be given like, associate role or a senior software role or whatever it is based on the experience in that organization.
Okay.
And for your other question, is it worth taking Workday? See, the reason why people are interested in Workday right now, again, let me put it blunt, is because Workday is in boom, the first one.
Okay.
And the second one is Workday packages are reaching sky.
Okay.
A 4 or 5 years experienced person is drawing around 20-25 lakhs.
Okay.
I have taken multiple interviews,
Mm.
and what I have seen is this, and the market for Workday is way good. And it will be the same for the next 5 to 8 years at least.
Okay.
Again,
And
this is my analysis.
okay, and one more question from my side. The thing which you have said that certification, a part of the certification, is it really will get from the company or from somewhere else from this Workday Association?
See, the certifications, firstly, it is not like once you join the company, you will get it. If it is a partner, they'll have to initiate your certification process. Why? Because that 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs or 6 lakhs, the amount
Okay.
will be bared by the company, not by the individual.
Okay.
So the company will pay for your certification. They'll send you for the training. Once the
Okay.
training is done, once you are cleared the test, Workday provides that certification.
Okay.
So it is by Workday.
Okay. Okay.
So you can see over LinkedIn if you have any of your contacts who are Workday certified people, they might be posting. Recently, I got certified in this module, and few people they put that Workday certification as well there as a post.
Okay.
So to answer your question, the certification is provided by Workday, not by the company or by any of the Workday associate or any training institutes. It is by Workday company itself.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Rahul.
Okay, perfect. Any other questions?
One more last question, Rahul, from my end.
Yeah.
Here. Okay. Now the future of this Workday, as you already said, it could be some 5 to 8 years. Now, as we already know, like we had PeopleSoft earlier for this HR databases, we used to use PeopleSoft. So we had other tools also, and we
Yes.
had SAP also. So now, if you see, the trend is completely Workday. So as you said, after 8 years. So the same way, like how PeopleSoft is back now, the Workday will also be back, and we will be coming up with new kind of tool. And what will happen to our future if we get enter into the Workday?
Okay. See, one thing, right? Whether it is Workday or any other software, basically there will be a lifespan for each of the software to be in the market. So as you said, PeopleSoft was there. I think the last version of PeopleSoft was 9.1, I believe, or 9.2.
Yes.
After that, PeopleSoft is stopped. Now I heard, I think PeopleSoft was going to restart again, something as such. Okay. So For Workday has started in 2005.
Hmm.
Okay, and Workday, when it is initiated, nobody knows about it. It took almost 3 to 4 years for them to get recognized. I think 2008 or 2009 is when people started getting to know that, okay, there is an ERP which is Workday, which is good compared to other ERPs.
Hmm.
The reason why Workday is in boom right now is because of the updates that they come up on a continuous basis, the first thing, and the diversification that they provide. Rather than having multiple tools for each of the process, Workday is giving each and everything in a single tool itself.
Hmm.
Like for example, one of my previous organization, they use Workday. Okay, so this was in 2015-16. So they use Workday for the HCM, but for payroll, they use SAP. For having the contractor details, they use Fieldglass.
Hmm.
Then for learning, again, it is a different tool. But now if you look at the Workday diversification that the Workday has given in the last 2 years that they have come up with,
Mm-hmm.
most of the things can be done on Workday and they are diversifying, right?
Hmm.
So after 5 to 8 years, for your question, what is going to be the future?
Hmm.
You learn new things, you will be in the market for a little more years.
Hmm.
You get stuck only to one module or only one process and you say, okay, I don't want to learn anything new. As other softwares, the Workday also will go down, like how we have C, C++, Java, PHP.
Hmm.
So all this, C is like in 2008 and 9, it is a boss, C and C++ and the Java. Then after that, PHP came into existence and it was a bit easier compared to the other ones. But now again, it went down. In that way, you learn new things, you keep yourself updated, you'll be there in the market.
Hmm. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Aarti, any question you have?
Yes, Rahul. So just want to check on two things. One is, would you also be covering some guidelines or some insights on exam preparation for certification for HCM?
See, for preparing, as I said, right? So let me tell you frankly, whatever I'm going to give you guys a training on, it is mostly similar to the training that the Workday provide. Okay, it is no difference. And the guidance or the practice is completely in your hands, wherein how much you practice. As I said, right, you have to keep practicing. Keep practicing, try new things, try multiple things over there. When you look at Workday training, let me tell you, for example, there are 10 fields while creating a supervisory organization. As part of the Workday training, they'll explain you only 3 to 4. The remaining 6 is up to you whether you want to explore and learn or you just want to leave it. This is how the Workday training works basically. I mean, the training that is provided by Workday for the certification, this is how it is. It is completely on, you have got the training materials, how much you have gone through those, how much you have practiced, and how much you have gained, the knowledge that you have gained apart from what you have learned in the class. That is where the questions comes in, right? So now there are 10 fields. So for example, consider I have explained you 6 fields. The remaining 4 fields I didn't explain. Basically, consider it. So when you started your practice, you have observed it and then you have gone and reviewed that, the training material. Okay, what are these used for? If there is nothing, then the next day you will come back and ask, what are these fields for? But you didn't practice, for example, or you didn't review the materials, then you won't ask that question. You'll just leave it.
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Around one
All
last
this
question.
Khalid.
Just one last.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's a little slightly weird, but just want to know. So you would be taking our classes, right? Like the 36 hours.
Yes.
Oh, I think that's it. Thank you.
Okay, perfect.
Rahul, I have a
All
question.
Khalid here.
Sorry, somebody is asking. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Go ahead. You can go ahead and ask.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so Rahul, I have a question here. Wanted to know, as you're saying that, Workday culture, we can
Mhm.
get certified on Workday and post that we can apply for jobs. So just wanted to know right now, for a person who has a minimum experience of Workday
Mhm.
and has done a certification course of Workday,
Mhm.
what kind of package that person expect in from as in from a market point of view? What is the
Okay.
current market for that?
Okay. So two things right over here. The first thing, you can get certified only once you get the job. The first part.
Okay.
As I said, the certifications are given, can be initiated only by the organizations. We individuals cannot apply for Workday certification directly. So as I said, the partner certification, if I want to apply for, I have to join any of the partner company first. Then only I can apply for the Workday certification for that respective module. Then,
Okay.
mhm,
No, sorry to interrupt you here. So, for example, now I am working for a XYZ company. So
mhm,
now I will be taking a training from you,
mhm.
and then post that I have to inform the company that I have completed my training with Workday, and then the Workday certificate will be shared by the company. No, Workday certificate will be shared via company to me. Is that what you're saying?
No. So
Then.
as I said earlier, this particular training, or once you complete this particular training, the certificate that you're going to get
Hmm.
is not from Workday or your company. It is from UpTaught.
Okay.
Okay. This basically is for you to learn how Workday is, what is there in Workday, how the Workday configuration works for that respective module. For your second question, once you are done with the training, if you go and tell in your organization also that I have done the Workday training, the max to max that you get is they putting you in a Workday role if there is any availability, or they try to expand your knowledge by telling you to shadow few people who are working on Workday. You won't get any certification from your company, the XYZ, or from Workday. Now,
Okay.
the second thing, if you want to get Workday certification, for example, consider your XYZ company is using Workday,
Hmm.
you need to reach out to your manager or the Workday team asking that I'm interested in Workday, I want to learn more, and I want to do Workday Pro certification, which is mainly for the customers. So the Pro
Okay.
certification, it is on the credit system, and each credit is $800. And for HCM, I believe it is 8 or 9 credits. So what is going to happen after that is, once your management agrees that, okay, they want to send you for the Workday certification, they will
Hmm.
purchase that 9 credits from Workday. They'll create you a profile, and then they'll purchase that certification. They'll apply for the certification for you with that 9 credits. Wherein after that, once the process is initiated, there'll be few slots available on the Workday trainings. Few trainers might be from the Asia region, few might be from Germany, and few might be from Canada. Based on the time zone, you'll have to select one of the available slot, and then you have to go through a 8-day training, which is given by Workday. And these 8 days are a full day trainings. For
Okay.
7 days, you will have the trainings, and on the eighth day, you have an exam wherein you have a quantitative exam, which is they'll give you like a 30 MCQs, multiple choice questions, which is for 1 hour.
Mhm.
And then once you're done with it, you will have a 6 hours exam, which is a practical, where you have to do the configuration on the tenant. They'll give you a question paper that configure this, configure that. But one thing, nothing is direct on the question paper. Whatever they give the data, it will be in an indirect way. They test how much you understood. Once you clear both these, then you will get Workday Pro certification in HCM. This is the process for getting certified from Workday. Then to your other question, the current market range is 3 to 5 times. So when I say 3 to 5 times, as I said, 4 to 5 years experienced person is drawing around 20 lakhs package.
Okay,
That
got it.
is that is the current market for Workday. If you have more knowledge on Workday, you can ask for more. Nothing wrong in that.
Sure. Okay. Thank you, Rahul. I got that.
Okay, perfect. I think someone else had a question, right?
Hi Rahul, Khalid here this side.
Hi, Khalid.
Right now I'm working for ADP Private Limited,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not into core HR or core Workday kind of role.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's completely a different process. We are into like retirement consultant.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we are into 401k retirement consultant, wherein we guide and we create the retirement plans for the PPT who are based in US. Basically, we are working for a US clients,
Mm-hmm.
and 401k comes under payroll. So ADP is into like core payroll.
Yes.
It's basically a human capital management company.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been like more than 5 years I'm working with the same company, and the growth has been stuck. So
Mm-hmm.
recently I had an interaction with one of my friends
Mm-hmm.
who is also a software engineer, but he never had experience of Workday, never got a chance to work on Workday tool.
Mm-hmm.
However, he got selected for the same.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, when yesterday I had a call with him, he
Mm-hmm.
said instead of getting training on Workday, you
Mm-hmm.
better go with SAP HCM. So what are your thoughts on it?
See, whichever ERP you go for. Now, as you said, you work with US clients, right?
Yes,
So based
yes.
on your knowledge, what I can suggest is whichever ERP you're going with, once you're done with HCM, go for payroll. And as
Okay.
yours is a US clients, go for US payroll. The reason why I'm telling this is for you to keep yourself updated in the market, the first thing. And the second thing is you are getting diversified. Apart from the payroll, you have the HCM knowledge as well. Just going with HCM, believe me, it will be very difficult.
Okay.
At least for the first 1 year or might be for few months, it will be very, very difficult.
Okay.
And
So you mean to
SAP or
say that?
Workday, obviously I won't recommend which one you go with. The reason being why, because I am giving training on Workday. You just look
Okay.
at which one is in the market more, which is in the boom. The companies which you are looking for or the industry which you are looking for. For example, consider you're looking at a FMCG industry or you're looking at an IT industry. Look at the industry and look at which ERP is mostly used in this industry.
Right.
Based on that, you can go ahead. The reason why I'm telling this is, for example, consider you are going with Workday training, for example, now. But the companies or the industry which you are interested in, consider they don't use Workday much. They are going with SAP. Then there is not much of a use for you to take up this Workday,
Okay.
right? But then again, if it is a vice versa for SAP, the same. You are going for SAP HCM, and then the companies which you are looking for might be an IT industry or FMCG or whatever, the financial industry, they don't have SAP much. Then again, it's a waste.
Right.
So either SAP or Workday, both these are new for you.
Yes. Yes.
So in that scenario, look at the industry, look at the companies which you are interested to work with. Might be for the next 5 years or 10 years, you might have few companies in your mind, right? Okay, I want to work in this particular company. I want to work in that particular company. At least I want to, work for 2 years. It is my dream company in that way.
Right.
Look at those, look at what is the ones which they are using and based on that, go ahead with that. Why? Because
Okay.
it is just 5 years experience, right? You still have lifetime to go. Might be around 25 to 30 years minimum.
Yes.
So to stay
Absolutely.
for that 25, 30 years, look at what are the things that the companies are using, what are the tools that are in boom in the market, whether it will be there for the next few years or whether it is going to come down or whether it will completely go off. Think from all these perspectives and then take a decision.
Okay. So one last question, Rahul.
Mm-hmm.
As you said, like payroll will be a good option, and I also agree with you because right now I'm working for US payroll.
Mm-hmm.
So in this training or in this Workday training, payroll will be the different module which we are going to learn, or it will be included in this module.
No, payroll will be a separate module altogether.
Okay.
So how we have the HCM, right? Like HCM is the core for all the modules.
Yes.
For payroll, you have something called as a core payroll. So once you learn
Okay.
HCM, you will learn core payroll, which is common for all the countries. Then after
Okay.
that, you have country specific payroll. So from Workday, you have US payroll, you have Canada payroll, you have France payroll, and I think you have UK or Germany, something.
Okay.
So we have 4
Okay.
major country payrolls, and Workday is planning to have Australian payroll and another country.
Okay.
2 more are going to come in.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for answering. Thanks.
You're welcome. So any other questions, guys? Okay, I'll take it as a no. So hope I have explained what you are looking for, at least from the questions perspective. I'm not talking about the demo or the training. Whatever questions you have, hope I have answered them. So